Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Anita Fon. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every time I upload a new tutorial on my channel. If you're a old member, you are welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to draft a shirt pattern. So if you want to know how I'll be going about it, keep on watching. First thing I'm doing here is to go ahead and draw my guideline. I'll go ahead and divide my soldier measurement by 2. My soldier measurement is 14. 14 divided by 2 will give me 7 inch. I'll mark that up. Then I'm going to slant it down by 1 inch for the soldier slant. After slanting it down, I'm going to move down to my armhole deep. Then this 7 inch I use from here to here, I'll mark it up here. I'll go ahead to connect it up with a line up like this, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I'm going to go in with the neck deep of 3 inch and the neck width of 3 inch for the front. I'm going to mark that up. When I'm done doing so, I'll just go ahead to connect that up from here, and I'm going to connect the neck width and the neck deep just like so. When I'm done doing so, the next thing I will do is to put 1/4 of my bust. Round my bust is 34. 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5 inch. I'm going to mark. I'll measure whatever I have here and divide it by 2, which is 7.5. Divide it by 2 will give me 3.075. I'll mark the center. Then I'm going to go in by 3/4 inch. I'll connect these 3 points together. You can use your free hand or you can use your French curve ruler. After connecting it, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure now from the soldier to the length of this shirt, depending on how long you want it to. I will mark my length, which is 20 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect a line up like this. After doing so, next thing I will do now is to go ahead and mark the waist measurement if you want it to be a fitting shirt, but mine is not going to be a fitting shirt. Okay, so whatever I use on my bust, I'm going to use it at the length of my shirt. So I'll come here, like I'll put 1/4 of my bust, which is 8.5. Then I'll repeat the same thing here, and I'll do the same thing to the downer part as well. Then I'm going to mark it up here, but I'll go ahead now to add my 1.5 inch. You can add 1 inch or 2 inch depending on you. I'll be adding 1.5 inch. I'm going to repeat the same thing here, and I will do the same thing here. After that, I'll go ahead to connect that up like this. After connecting that up, I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. When I'm done cutting it, I'm going to mark 1 inch here and 1 inch there. I'll go ahead to connect that up, and we'll be cutting it up. That's because I want the back of the shirt to be longer than the front of the shirt. We will cut this, then I'm going to attach this to the back pattern. Now I'm going to move that aside. But remember that I've not added 1 inch for my buttonhole. You can add 1 or 1.5 inch is good. So what I'm going to do is to go ahead to stick out this front pattern to my paper like so. Then I'll just gum that up. I'll be adding my 1 inch for the buttonhole. Like I said, you can add 1 inch or 1.5 inch. I'll go ahead now to connect up those points up like that with a straight line. Now I already know that that is my buttonhole. Okay. So I've added my 1 inch for my buttonhole. To cut the back, what you're going to do is to go ahead and fold that buttonhole allowance inside, okay? Because we don't need that for the back. And that 1 inch that we cut for the front, I'll be joining it up here for the back. Remember, it's for the back, not for the front. I'll just join it up here. You'll see what it will look like when I'm done cutting the back up. After gumming that up, next thing we want to do is to go ahead now. I will just trace everything up. What I'm going to do here is just to go ahead and draw a straight line like this. That's going to be for my guideline. When I'm done doing so, I'll be measuring 1 inch down for the neck dip for the back. You can go ahead, measure 1 inch or 1.5 inch, okay? So I decided to mark 1 inch, okay? Then I'll just connect it up from here to here like this. Then I'll go ahead now to cut it up. When I get to this point, I will stop here because you know the armhole of the back is not like the front. The front is more deeper than the one of the back. So I'll just go ahead and mark 1/2 inch outward. I'm going to connect it all the way like this. Right, so it's going to be the same thing. After doing so, I'm going to cut that up. When I'm done cutting that up, I'm going to remove the front pattern on top, but I'll make sure that I just mark those lines to go ahead and connect it with a straight line. Now I'll just go ahead to trim any excess that is not supposed to be there off. Then from this, you'll notice that the front is shorter than the back by 1 inch. That's because the back is more longer than the front of the shirt. Okay, place them up like that. You see that the front is shorter than the back. Now I'll just go ahead and level it up, the front and the back. Go ahead now to create the sleeve. Well, before you go ahead to create the sleeve, I'll just pick the pattern, the back pattern. You know, it's longer than the front, so I'm just measure whatever I have here on the armhole like that. Then I'm just going to measure it up and I will use that to draft my sleeve. First thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and fold my drafting paper into 2. After doing so, I'll go ahead to connect it with a straight line. That is my guideline. I'm going to go ahead to mark my sleeve cap length, which is going to be 4.5 inch. If you don't know how to get the sleeve cap, go ahead, divide around your bust by 12, then you add 1/2 inch to it. It's normally between 4 and 5 inch. Then I'm going to put whatever I measure from my the armhole of my pattern, which is 9.5. I'll go ahead to mark that up. Then after doing so, I'll just connect this up like so with a straight line. After doing so, go ahead to divide that straight line into 2. Measure it up and divide it up, which is 10.5 divided by 2 give me 5.025. I'm going to go up here by 3/4 inch. You can go up by 3/4 or 1 inch is fine. Then I'll still measure the center of this as well. Then I'm going to go down by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to come to this top part. I will measure it again. That's the measure it and divide it in 2. After doing so, here I'm going to go up here by 1 inch. Connect that up, those points up like this. If you don't have a French cap, go ahead to use your free hand. Then I'm going to connect it or pass through that 1/2 inch I went down, just like you can see me doing. See the way I'm placing my French cap, like so, all the way to this point. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is just to reconnect it and make sure everything is looking good. Now what I'm going to do is I'll come here, I'm going to mark the length of my sleeve, which I'm going to go with 11 inch. Mark and connect it up with a straight line. Here I'll come here, I'll mark 7.5 inch. Then I'm going to connect that up like so. After connecting that up, we'll go ahead to cut it up. What I'm going to do here is to go ahead and just take about 0.25 inward, and I'm going to cut that up. I'm doing so only for the armhole of the front. So you can see the front is more deeper than the back. Level it up, then we are done. So I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If you do, give it a thumbs up, like, comment and share. I hope to see you on our next DIY. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.